Welcome to Junior Achievement's Our Families program. Through hands-on classroom activities, JA Our Families introduces students to the intersection of entrepreneurship and first grade social studies learning objectives. The program is volunteer taught and kit-based. It includes 5 30-minute sessions with additional extended learning activities offered throughout. After the program, students will be able to describe the similarities and differences found in families, categorize needs and wants, describe jobs people do, and analyze their own skills to determine ways they can support their families. Students will also have the opportunity to identify the goods and services provided by local businesses, as well as explain one of the entrepreneurial characteristics and how they satisfied needs or wants. JA's hands-on materials will be your guide in helping you to achieve all of the program goals. On the right side of the screen, you will see a picture of the materials provided for you in the program kit that you'll be using throughout the 5 lessons to help the students understand the JA Our Families program. Let's get started with the first session.
Session 1, Our Families.
The objectives of the first session will be to help students understand the similarities and differences between families and to help the class see that families are part of neighborhoods. The first session will require you to use the following materials from your JA kit: the Junior Achievement Banner, 30 table tents for students, the guide for teachers and volunteers, the JA Our Families posters, 30 junior journals which will be given to the teacher for use in follow-up activities, key term flashcards, 30 postcards with magnets, 30 picture books, 30 sticker sheets, and pencils or crayons that are not included in your kit. In Session 1, students are introduced to the JA Our Families poster by the volunteer. This poster shows how people work together and help each other to make their neighborhood a nice place to live. The volunteer will then ask the students to describe what family means to them, helping them to see that there are many unique ways that families are put together. After the discussion on families, the volunteer will read to the students a book that is based on the characters in the Our Families poster. After the book is read, the volunteer will ask what the students liked about the book and if anything was missing. Students should be able to see that the pictures for the book are missing, at which time the volunteer will distribute to each student a sticker sheet so that when they reread the book, as the students follow along, they'll be able to place the corresponding sticker with the characters in their books. The volunteer will wrap up the lesson by discussing how when many families live in an area, it is called a neighborhood. A best practice for this session is to bring in a picture of your own family and be prepared to discuss what your family looked like when you were the student's age and what your family currently looks like today.
Session 2, Needs and Wants.
The objectives of the second session will be to help the students categorize needs and wants and to describe the difference between a need and a want. In the second session, you will need the following material from the JA kit: the JA banner, student table tents, 30 junior journals, 1 JA Our Family poster, 3 term flashcards, 6 needs and wants flashcards, 12 needs and wants picture cards, and 8 drop me a note sheets. During Session 2, the volunteer will do a quick recap of the first lesson and then introduce 2 key words to the students: need and want. The volunteer will write on the board the words need and want. They will then explain that a need is something that families must have to live, and these basic needs will consist of things like food, shelter, and clothing. Then, the volunteer will describe that money helps families to buy what they need and want. At this time, the volunteer will describe what a want is: something that families would like to have, but can live without. The activity for Session 2 will involve the volunteer passing out 2 flashcards to every student. One has the word need on it, and the other has the word want. The volunteer will then show the students 11 flashcards of pictures that represent either a need or a want, and the students will have to hold up the flashcard that represents the picture. Examples are a toy, which will be a want, or food, which would be a need. This activity will help the class understand the difference between the 2 words. To wrap up this activity, the volunteer will hand out a drop me a note sheet to each student so that they can write a note to a family member asking them to fulfill a need or a want. In return, the students will offer to do a job for that person. Prior to leaving, the volunteer will show one more flashcard, a high school diploma, and explain to the students why this is both needed for many jobs and an accomplishment that the student should want to achieve. A best practice for this activity is to bring in some pictures from magazines to show other examples of what needs and wants are.
Session 3. Good job.
The objectives for the third session are to help the students to define the terms job, business, and entrepreneur, as well as identify the jobs people do. Students will also analyze their own skills to determine ways they can support family members. In the third session, you will need the following material from the JA program kit: the JA banner, student table tents, 1 JA Our Families poster, 12 needs and wants picture cards from session 2, 3 term flashcards, 30 junior journals, 8 job cards, and 30 A Job I Can Do coupons. The volunteer in session 3 will show a few of the examples of the need and want cards from lesson 2 to make sure that the students have a good understanding between these two words. The volunteer will then talk about what family jobs members may have using the key term flashcards to define the following words: job, business, and entrepreneur. The volunteer will let the students know that family members can have many types of jobs, and the money they get paid helps to buy what the family needs and wants. The activity will center around a student volunteer trying to guess what job the class is describing to them in 3 clues. Some of the jobs include doctor, vet, and firefighter. Once all 8 of the jobs have been guessed, the volunteer will hand out a Job I Can Do coupon worksheet. This is when the students will draw a picture of something they can do at home to help their family. A best practice for this session is to be prepared to help the students in the class think of good clues to give the students guessing the jobs. It can sometimes be tough for students to provide clues without giving the job away.
Session 4. Business in our neighborhood.
The objectives for the fourth session are to help the students interpret map symbols and identify the goods or services businesses provide. For session 4, you will need to use from your JA program kit, the JA banner, student table tents, the JA Our Family poster, 5 key term flashcards, 30 junior journals, 1 floor map, 1 business symbol card sheet, 30 business maps, 30 map symbol stickers, and 1 toy car. In the fourth session, the students will talk about what a business is and what a need and want is. Students will have the opportunity to talk about their favorite neighborhood businesses. The volunteer will tell the students that today they will learn about what a map is and the symbols that are found on the map. The volunteer will define map and symbol to the class and further provide examples by listing on the board pictures of an addition sign, $sign, and the equal sign. This will help the students to understand that a symbol is a sign used instead of words. The volunteer will then place a large map on the floor, gather the students around the map, and use the toy car to drive to some of the businesses that are shown on the map, describing how those businesses provide goods or services to our families and neighborhoods. After a few trips with the toy car around the map, the volunteer will then point out the key that is located on the map to help the students read what the symbols represent. The volunteer will then introduce the students to 10 business cards that are not shown on the map, and have the students help to place these new businesses on the existing map and talk about whether their business provides us with needs or wants. When complete, the students will return to their desk where they will each receive their own copy of the map and business stickers that they will then put together to reinforce the activity. A best practice for this session is to talk about some of your favorite businesses and why you like them for goods or services they provide. Also, you should be the only one playing with the toy car. This will help make sure no student feels left out of the activity.
Session 5, Our New Business.
The objectives for our last session in Junior Achievements Our Families program will be to describe one of the entrepreneurial characteristics and show how entrepreneurs satisfy a need or want. In the 5th session, you will need the following materials from your JA kit: the JA banner, student table tents, the JA Our Family poster, 1 money flashcard, 1 business symbol card sheet, 30 My New Business sheets, and 30 certificates of achievement. In this last session, the volunteer will start off the class by showing the 10 business symbol cards from session 4, so that the students can reinforce the concept of symbols. After reviewing the businesses, the volunteer will then show the students the money flashcard, reminding the students that money is something we use to pay for things that we need or want. Volunteers will reinforce the concept of earning money by discussing how our family members work at various jobs to get paid. The volunteer will then tell the students that today they will be becoming entrepreneurs, a person who creates a good or service that satisfies a need or want in our neighborhood. The class will be told that they will work in pairs to satisfy a want in the community by starting a business. The teacher and volunteer will demonstrate how the process will work by solving a problem in front of the class. After the example, the volunteer will explain to the class that many people in the neighborhood are having trouble finding birthday cakes in fun shapes for children's parties. The students will then be asked to create a business that satisfies this want. Working in pairs, the students must come up with a name for their business, then use the My New Business worksheet to draw their own design for one of the cakes for their new business. At the end of the class, the volunteer will review the main concepts of the program and hand out the certificates of achievement. A best practice for this session is to draw your own cake design for the class prior to your teaching day, so that you can show them an example of the creativity that they can use. What to do now? You have now been introduced to the JA Our Families program. We thank you for stopping by to view this video. On the slide you will find some helpful hints and links to other videos that can assist you with other topics on classroom logistics and classroom management. Junior Achievement of Chicago hopes you have a great classroom experience and thanks you for taking the time to help students better understand the lifelong skills of workforce readiness, entrepreneurship, and financial literacy.